Hey guys, and welcome everyone. What's up, Ryan? How you doing today, bub?
Doing pretty well, man. How about you?
Not too bad, man. Well, guess what? We're here about to rock it out with the Dual Threat podcast. Just some Florida State boys today because Clemson guys they lose the game and they go MIA. You know,
Scaredy cats.
scary cats, man. It's all good. It's all good. They all know thick and thin, right? It's like a vowel. Always here when you're up high, but when you're down low, it's just different,
Too
right?
ashamed to show your face. I mean, hey, we went 2-10 last year. We were here every time. So
Every time, man. That's the Compact podcast. It's ran by loyal people that's here for the calls. But once again, guys, I welcome you for everybody that's watching. Please, if you're watching this on Twitch or YouTube, please hit the subscribe button. Turn on your notifications so you can catch us here every Tuesday. We're gonna work on this time because 5:30 is not what I wanted to do. It's really for one of our person that's not even here, who's 7 time zones away. So might rain check this and do this a little bit later because I know this is the time everybody's traveling home from work. Um, but in addition to that, if you also listen to us on Spotify or Apple, please give us a follow and leave us a 5-star rating if you value this. We're trying to grow this podcast. And our goal is to be consistent with it. But with that being said, let's dive into today's topics, which will include reviewing week 3, reviewing the games, the biggest games of the week 3 scoreboard, as you see projected. We're going to listen to some tidbits from some coaches. That's away. Ryan hasn't heard it yet, so I want to catch his attention on it.
I want to be first time hearing this. So
First time hearing it. Well, let's dive into it. Week 3 scoreboard. Some of the biggest games from week 3, starting with probably the biggest upset, Georgia Tech winning over Clemson 24-21 on last second field goal. We also had overtime game between Georgia and Tennessee. The Dogs come out on top 44-41. West Virginia with the big comeback against Pitt going to overtime 31-24. Big surprise, and Rich Rod kind of got a little bit of redemption from that 2007 missing out on possible national championship. Miami dominates South Florida 49-12. LSU beats Florida 20-10. Texas A&M gets a last-second touchdown to get the win.
what game?
Great game, man. That was a great game.
That was a great
41-40. Vandy dominates South Carolina in Columbia 31-7. Ugly, man. And Tulane beats Duke 34-27 to hold off the Dukies. Ryan, what kind of lets you left the floor, man? What game you kind of want to start at and how you feel?
Well, first I'd like to address the Clemson Georgia Tech game because I called that one. I wouldn't call that an upset. 3 weeks going into 4 now, I've been saying, Georgia Tech should be considered a dark horse for the ACC championship, or at least an appearance in the ACC championship. Going into Death Valley and knocking off Clemson, knocking them out of the rankings for the first time in I don't even know how long. That's a big win. Rivalry game. If you're Georgia Tech, you're as pleased with yourself as you can be right now. You can kind of sit back, do your best in the ACC competition, try to get to that conference championship. But really, this is your toughest opponent until Georgia.
Yeah.
So Georgia Tech puts themselves in a good spot. Tennessee, man.
That kicker, man. You gotta feel horrible.
Heupel, I'm not even going to blame the kicker. I'm going to blame Heupel on this. You had 7 seconds. You had every opportunity to kneel the ball and take a timeout. Instead, you decide to run the ball, and that caused a penalty. I don't remember what it was. I think it was a not early contact, not offsides, but offensive line.
False start.
Was it a false start? Okay.
Yeah.
Offensive line blew that one, knocked you 5 yards back, and 5 yards on a game-winning. What it would have been a game-winning field goal is a lot. So, Tennessee had every opportunity to win that. Georgia, I mean, this is why we say that Coach Smart is the best coach in college football right now. I mean, he was down, I think, 17 at one point.
Yeah.
Came back, tied it up, forced overtime. What do you say about that, you know?
And kind of like harp on that game, like Joey Aguilar, it's kind of like hit or miss. Like caught fire on some deep throws. Then once Georgia kind of adjusted and kind of knew how to cover, that's kind of like just Tennessee's offensive journal. Once you can do that and make him have to like kind of re-coverage and nickel and dime, that's where he started to struggle. But look, you could have asked for it, man. Tennessee came, you had your opportunities, you did pretty much almost everything to get out with that W, and kind of screwed yourself, came up short. And it's like kind of like you said, I'm not going to solely blame on the kicker, but like, hey, man, it was a big opportunity right there, just kind of knock it. But you could tell just on the build-up, man, that man looked nervous.
Oh, yeah. I was nervous for him.
For him. I was like, man, he's about to miss this kick. Like, call it. Hard back on the Georgia Tech Clemson game. This is the third straight week with this Clemson offense looking like mediocre as hell.
At best.
At best. Like, it's just like with Cade, I think it's almost like his confidence is just shook. And I don't know if he's going to get it back. Some of it is offensive line. Like, he doesn't trust his offensive line, so he's rushing his reads. He's not staying in the pocket. He's bailing. It's almost like he's regressing for someone that's started for 3 years. It's almost like crazy. But I'm not going to take away the win from Georgia Tech. You know, they did everything they needed to do. And even with this Clemson defense, I think that's kind of like it's raising the bar. Like you heard all offseason, you had plenty of analysts choosing Clemson to win a national championship or being like the national championship favorite in some of their odds because of the
at least the playoff contender, yeah.
At least the playoff contender. Remember, now you just open the ACC conference play with a loss. You still got to play Florida State. Still got to play Louisville.
Yep.
It's like could be a run, and this is I'm gonna show you this before we move on.
And even then, you still got your game against South Carolina at the end of the season.
Yeah, we're gonna speak on those Gamecocks too. But let me see if I can actually let you hear this because Dabo. This was at a press conference earlier with Dabo Swinney. Come on, here I can figure out math. Where the hell is? Oh, I'm sure that. Sure, there we go. All right, I'll let you see this.
Oh, we're getting the preview and everything.
Yeah.
If they want me gone, if they tired of winning, they can send me on their way because that's all we've done is win. So if they tired of winning, we've won this league 8 out of the last 10 years. Is that not good? I'm just asking. Is that good? I don't know if that's good or not. To win your league 8 out of 10 years, to go to the playoffs 7 out of 10 years, to be in 4 national championships, win it twice. Yeah, we're a little down right now. Take your shots, but I got a long memory in case y'all don't know. We'll be all right. We'll bounce back. This is a program built to last. Always has been. Always will be. And I would just say if you give up on us if you don't believe in us because we've lost 2 games down to the last straight and you didn't believe in us anyway, so it don't matter. You wasn't all in anyway. If you're all in, you burn the ships, man. There ain't no exit strategy. Like you're freaking all in. And hey, listen, I mean, if Clemson's tired of winning, they send me on my way, but I'm gonna go somewhere else and coach. I ain't going to the beach. Hell, I'm 55. I got a long way to go. For a while. Got a long way to go. I'm just getting going. I'm just now good enough to be a head coach.
All right. That was available on Clemson Sports Talk on the X page. You can go check out for yourself for anyone that hasn't seen it. What's your quick thoughts on that, Ryan?
I mean, honestly, there's not a single thing I don't agree with Dabo with on there, man. Like, yeah, every program's going to have one bad year every once in a while. Not everybody can have a Bowden or a Saban or what have you. You know, these all-time great coaches who rarely come across losing seasons. That just doesn't happen. And so, yeah, he can't bury his team this early in the season. So the best way to respond to that negativity is to challenge the fans. Like, hey, if you're ready to jump ship already, what do we need you for? you want me gone? Fine. Like, good luck. He's seen what happens when you try to replace a coach this consistent in a big name program. It just it very rarely works out well.
Yeah. And look, Ash, you're talking to two fans of a program that's been through the struggles for the better part of 7-8 years right now. Ask Texas A&M, ask Miami till recent. Like, they had, I think, one conference appearance in the conference championship since they won the national championship or joined the ACC in 2003.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
That's it.
Like, you can be mediocre. Ask Tennessee fans. There's a lot of blue chip programs that have had mediocre appearances. Clemson is having an all-time run. A run they had prior to Dabo getting in, they've never done before.
Mm-mm.
Like
nothing like it. No.
Like nothing. Like you were at best were like a 7, 8, 9 win season. Like I remember the best Clemson season prior to this run was the year I think it was 2004 or 5. They beat Tennessee in the Chick-fil-A Bowl. At the time, it was called the Peach Bowl. And that was a hype season for them. So like they were, and obviously I know they won national championship in the early 80s, but prior to that, I'm talking 30 years.
Big drought. That's a big drought.
That's a big drought. Like look at Notre Dame. Like I joked with my buddy D all the time about, like, dude, you never been alive since they won the last national championship.
Their last national championship was like 2 months before I was born.
Yeah, that's a hard thing to do, and the fact that he had gotten Clemson there. Not just twice, but he actually made it to the game 4 times.
Mm-hmm. Ask some of these other teams that have won a championship in the last 20 years. Where's Gene Chizik? Where's can't even remember the Ohio State guy right now. Not Urban Meyer. Don't want to know where he is.
Meyer, yeah.
No, the other guy.
Jim Tressel.
There you go, Coach Tressel.
Yeah.
Where's some of these guys now? I mean. Everybody wants to think that their next coach is going to be the one that's going to take them to the promised land and keep them there. But it's just not that easy to come across. And here you have a coach who did not win in excess in his first 3 seasons. It wasn't until his 4th season that he really started seeing success.
Yeah. But
since then, it's been nothing but. That's how you build a consistent program. Not everybody can do that. So many coaches lose their steam after a national championship win or even appearance. And all he did was make you more afraid of him. So if Clemson fans and the Clemson booster club is ready to drop Dabo, there's 128 teams out there willing to
I promise you,
Alabama's salivating right now.
Yeah.
They would definitely buy out DeBoer if Dabo came available.
Dabo wants to come over. I think DeBoer would be all right, but it's still early in the season. There's still a long way.
I'm still sure DeBoer's gonna be just fine. But
yeah. 2 quick comments from I want to comment at least 2 more games before we move on. LSU Florida game. I know LSU won that game, and this is also another screen one shared. But that was like DJ Lagway threw 5 picks in that game.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, there's this guy that's called Parker. His name's Parker Fleming. He is on X. He posts this weekly for wants to take a look. And this is a success rate. What success rate, kind of like in a nutshell, essentially shows teams that won or lost, but they outperformed the team that beat them. So essentially, and it goes high low, and you see at the very end over here is the Florida LSU game. That's Florida. Mm-hmm. It shows that Florida outperformed LSU in almost every measure except obviously the turnover ratio, and still lost the game because LSU offense was really not efficient,
pedestrian.
Pedestrian at best. It's just that Florida couldn't score.
Yeah, Yeah, I mean, actually, I think that's a great point. You get 5 interceptions, and you can only come away with 2 field goals off of 2 turnovers. I believe the only touchdown or the 2 touchdowns they had were from their own drives.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, they only had 2 field goals off of turnovers. And that's a terrible conversion rate. I mean, you want to get at least 3 points, but that's on per turnover. If you get 1 out of 4, okay. But if you're only succeeding 2 of 5, that's not optimal. And Nussmeier's another guy who was supposed to come in, be this Heisman favorite, be a top NFL draft prospect. And, maybe it's the inconsistencies in the run game. I really don't think his receivers have been all that difficult to work with. His receivers have looked pretty good.
Yeah.
But Nussmeier just can't seem to hold a consistent drive yet, anyways. And the one thing I don't think you can blame it on is the offensive line, because they're not allowing pressure, and Nussmeier has plenty of time. I really don't know where it's coming from. Is it bad decision making, bad play calling? Again, is it just the run game's not giving enough to help keep that offense sustained and motivated? But yeah, LSU should have won by a lot more.
A lot more. Just a tad bit. Any other thing you want to comment on? I guess. Well, let's comment on that Vandy win.
Yeah,
we got Vandy.
I mean, it was very reminiscent to me of the Ole Miss game last year. South Carolina played.
Yeah.
Jackson Dart looked phenomenal, and Sellers only played half that game. As soon as he went out, South Carolina looked incompetent, just unable to run a play consistently. And that was with a 6-year senior quarterback. And this year we have Doty, who's I believe a redshirt sophomore.
Yeah.
I think all of 2 other appearances. So he's already in over his head going up against a Vandy defense that has really been trying to prove something this whole year. A Vandy coach and quarterback who are die hard for this program right now, saying we belong, stop overlooking us or we're going to kick you in the teeth. And sure enough, here we go. South Carolina, their offense, as soon as their star quarterback went out, were completely inept, and the defense had no answer for Pavita, not even a little bit. He had free range out there on the field that day, last Saturday. He was able to make any pass he wanted to. And I don't know, I think I like Bamber a lot. I do think he overlooks opponents sometimes. Yeah.
And I mean, this is also kind of another call out game. So Diego Pavia, is Vanderbilt's quarterback, pretty much, I think, what podcast he was on? Was it Theo Vaughn's podcast, maybe?
I heard somebody was on Theo Vaughn. I don't know if he said, but I heard.
I think it was Diego. It was definitely Diego. And Theo asked him pretty much, "Hey, which game do you have circle on the schedule?" And he pretty much said week 3. He didn't say the team. He just said week 3, and he came to prove his point. Look, it looked good, and not even just him. Vandy defense, and it looked pretty good. Like, it looked good against Virginia Tech. I can't really make too much because I was kind of like, I said this in the last podcast, I thought South Carolina looked fraudulent up to the season. Then the Virginia Tech getting smashed by
and we brought up that point. Yeah, you have 2 teams playing the same ACC team, but the difference in performance was vast. Yeah, very drastic.
So
I think Vandy, they came so close to beating Carolina last year. They were ready for some revenge, and
to do it in Columbia, man. So that
that place is loud.
It's loud, man. They're ruckus. That's the Lowy fan base, and
the Commodores quieted it down real quick.
Trying to tell you, that's a good team. Don't think of Vandy as the old Vandy.
No, we can't this year. No, they won 9 games last year. They're poised to do it again. Yeah. Don't count out Vanderbilt right now.
I look at that schedule. They could beat every single team on their schedule.
A team that has only had a 10-win season once in its entire 130-year history is now the team to watch out for. Yeah, that's fun.
So, quick comment, because I know my boss's husband's watching, and D, it's for you, D. I usually don't talk good about Notre Dame, but I'm talking good for you guys because they actually been getting a lot of flack. And some of it's deserving, like they're 0-2 and they're still ranked. And you can feel some type of way about that. I'm not too bad because I'm like, look, you lost on last second touchdown. You lost to a really people are hyping up a really good Miami team. And you lost by 3 on the road. So I'm not too mad at it. It's kind of like, hey, you went out and tried to play these big games, and that's better than some of these other teams who have FCS opponents. So I'm not going to see punished. In my personal top 25, I didn't have them ranked. I had I think I had a few teams over them, like USC, threw Utah in there. I think Utah was ranked, actually.
Utah's ranked, yeah.
I gotta go back and look at it. But they were just on the outside. I think I probably had them 26, 27, probably.
I watched a guy last week, and he made an interesting comment. These early weeks really feel at this point more like power rankings than anything else. So if you want to keep Notre Dame in the top 15 in a power ranking, I agree. Like you just said, Nick, they've lost both by 3 or less, but they played quality opponents. Miami's up to number 4 right now. Texas A&M, I think they jumped up to 11. You've played 2 very good opponents to start your season, and you're 0-2 by 4 points.
Yeah,
like that shows that there's definitely talent there. The coaching is working. You challenged yourself and you fell flat, and that happens sometimes. If you want to be taken seriously, though, sometimes you got to play, especially if you're an independent, someone who makes their own schedule. You got to play some tough opponents, and getting them out of the way. They do their 6 ACC games. They'll have Boston College, should be a win for them. They'll have Stanford, should be a win for them. Chapel Hill, they'll be fine. They're probably going to go through the early part of their ACC schedule, barely a scratch. I know they got a couple. I know they do have Clemson, but if they don't clean up there,
no, they don't.
Who knows how bad that could get.
So they don't play Clemson.
Oh, they don't play Clemson. I thought they did this year.
So the word with Notre Dame is essentially, and we see how some things play out. Their hardest games were the first 2 games they played. The hardest game remaining, just look at their schedule right now, it's probably going to be Southern Cal. They play Arkansas, Purdue, Boise State, NC State, Boston College, Navy, Stanford, and Syracuse, and Pitt.
That's a winnable schedule, man. Yeah, that's a real winnable schedule.
So the argument would be if they win out, and a lot of us could be waiting on if Southern Cal is actually legit. If they go 10-2, well, you make an argument for a 9-3 Big Ten or SEC team probably over them. Assuming that Miami,
who it is. If you have a 9-3 Texas A&M team, then you have an argument. You have an argument that maybe that Aggies team should go in over Notre Dame. But overall, I don't see a whole lot of teams who will be in that bubble position, that 10-2, 9-3, or 11-1 with an easy schedule. I don't see a lot of those guys with the same caliber of schedule that Notre Dame has. Even taking in consideration they already played probably their 2 hardest games.
Yeah.
I think a lot of those bubble teams that we're going to see, your Iowa State, your Georgia Tech possibly. I'm going to go ahead and throw Georgia Tech in there already. Some of your bubble teams like that, I don't think they played quite the same caliber as Notre Dame or will. Georgia Tech might.
The problem with it, not even Georgia Tech's, outside of Georgia, but the alibi the fallback that Georgia Tech has is that, hey, you're in a conference. Worst case, you're going to play for your conference championship, and you have a shot. If you win that game, you're in the playoff.
Right.
That's what Notre Dame doesn't have. So
right. Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah. So this is the consequence of you not being in the conference. And, you're kind of just going to have to wait and see how things play out. Personally, I think they go 10-2. I think they're pretty confident they'll probably be in.
Yeah.
Depends how things shape up. A lot of it's if Miami wins out, Texas A&M makes the playoff, that helps the argument, definitely.
Yep. Definitely.
One last thing week there before we carry on. Who's your player or team of the week?
Oh, I'm glad you asked, because I didn't know if we would talk about this game. I'm sure we would have if Matt had been with us, but I'm going to go with Tye Edwards, running back out of West Virginia, man.
Okay.
He powered through the first half. I think he had just over 70 yards. Yeah, in the first half, but he finished the game for 141 and 3 touchdowns. He was a huge part of that comeback that West Virginia had. And that's against Pat Narduzzi, who's considered one of the best defensive coaches, at least in the ACC. So, I mean, they couldn't stop this kid. He got his team the win in probably what was one of the most even matchups that we saw this week, and he delivered when he had to.
All right, we heard first, man. That's Ryan's team of the week. For me, I gotta give Georgia Tech. I mean,
Yeah.
it's kind of like you're saying. Everybody called us like this game opened up as a bigger line and got bet heavily. And look, man, that's a big win for Georgia Tech. They have the most insane split I've probably seen against ranked teams. They're like 14-1 in the last 2 or 3 years, and against non-ranked teams, they're almost 500.
You show up when you need to, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess it's yeah. Let's face it, they and Pitt have been a thorn in a lot of people's sides the last couple of years, especially in the ACC.
Yeah,
Clemson's had to come across both those teams and biting their nails after the game was over. Wonder if their playoff spot was in jeopardy or not. I mean,
right.
But yeah, 500 against non-ranked teams. That's wild.
That's a wild split.
It's a wild split. Yeah, absolutely.
All right,
But hey, yeah, good for Georgia Tech. Go Hornets, sting them.
Sting
Whatever
them.
you say.
Thank them. Shout out to MK, the Hornets. Let's keep it going, man. Week 4, we'll get locked in. I added a game because somehow I missed this game. I don't know how I missed it. And we get to it, but we're gonna cover 6 games instead of 5. We're gonna start with potentially a Big 12 championship preview, as we got Texas Tech Red Raiders travel over to Salt Lake City to take on the Utes. Utah is a 3-point favorite in this. The over-under is 57.5. Ryan, how you liking the Utes so far with this bounce back from last year, this point last year? This Utes team going against the Red Raiders.
I honestly am not that surprised by it. Their coach has been there. I think this is his 21st season at Utah. He knows how to recruit out of California. He knows how to recruit out of Texas. He brings the right kind of players to Utah. I think moving on from a lousy quarterback situation might have finally helped the team move on. I think they needed a little fresh taste in their locker room this year. And Dampier, the quarterback, has been phenomenal.
Yeah.
The primary source of the run game as well as the passing game. He's done very well so far. You know what? Not surprised to see Utah turn it around. I'm really not. I don't think I'm the only one. Like you said, I think a few people have had Utah predicted to make an appearance in the Big 12 championship. So
yeah, they're my preseason favorites. I think I chose them to win it.
Yeah, I mean, when you have a team that's been this consistent, one season is not usually going to break them, for good. So, no, but Texas Tech has been a really pleasant surprise, and I'm looking forward to this game. Both these teams have really good offenses, but their defenses are showing up too. So, I think this is both their first real test on the season.
Yeah, for the most part. I mean, I know Utah played UCLA.
They played UCLA, but
yeah,
look at what's happened to them. So yeah, they just lit the fire of the sinking ship.
So I have a question for you, because this is as you know, if you pay attention to college football over the offseason, one of the big storylines, at least out of the Big 12, is Texas Tech and their NIL budget, and how they pretty much pay for a lot of free agents through the transfer portal to build this team up to actually make a run to win not just the Big 12, or make it to the college football playoffs. I guess my question to you, Ryan, given not just with this game, but with Texas Tech as a whole, do you think they can actually become the power of the Big 12, essentially? Kind of fill that void that Texas or Oklahoma. Obviously, I know this is their first kind of real competition, as we said earlier. But you're going to have to prove on the field. But what's your thoughts on that?
Somebody's going to have to. Somebody's going to have to take that power seat in the Big 12. My current favorite is Iowa State. You know, Matt Campbell has built a great program there, and he knows how to coach in this conference. But that chair's wide open. You know, Utah, BYU, they're both clamoring for it. I would have told you Arizona had a shot until saw how last year went.
Yeah.
For Texas Tech, I mean, why not? Why not someone from Texas, where the conference essentially feels like it's seeded? You know, if you can rip that crown from Texas and put it on yourself, I'm sure a lot of people would love to be the new Big 12 champions down at oh geez, I always forget where that damn place is.
What Texas Tech?
Yeah, Lubbock.
Love it.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
Love it.
Yeah, I'm sure they'd love that. Any of these Texas teams, that's what you want to be. You want to be the crown of your conference. And with Texas Tech, as much money as they have, as much money as they can spend, and through all their donations and alumnus and everything like that.
They got one big booster that's kind of like fun. No, it's not saying they have more, but there's
I know
one
they got one who's like billions and billions.
He's billions, yeah.
Yeah.
That takes his money, man.
Yeah, shoot, sometimes you gotta play Yankee ball.
Yeah. Like that's on the field too. Like on the field
You
result.
do. You have to perform on the field. Yeah. So having the right coach there is a big deal. And like I said, Matt Campbell at Iowa State's not going to let you take the conference from him easily. He's been here. He's been at Iowa State too long, and he's struggled through those seasons with Texas and Oklahoma. And he's ready to put that crown on his own dang head. So Texas Tech definitely has the money in this new NIL world to do it, but you've got some tough competition. Absolutely. Let's not pretend like BYU doesn't have fair endowment to throw out to their football program too.
I was throwing TCU too with
TCU, yeah.
You know, they made it to the national championship game. You know, didn't go well for them, but at least.
But Texas Tech could totally do it. Red Raiders. Why not?
Why not? All right. Before we carry on, I'm gonna give you a pretty good prop bet. If you're watching live, you can see it scrolling at the bottom. Nick's best prop bet for this game will be Baron Morton over 20 half completions. Texas Tech loves to throw the ball. I feel like that's a pretty solid hit. You can get that right now at plus 120 or 115 actually on FanDuel and DraftKings.
Is that just Texas Tech?
Just Texas Tech, as far as like
20 completions.
Yeah, 20 completions by the player.
I'd take that, man. I'd take that. Yeah. Shoot, they're going to throw the ball at least 55 times.
At least. So I feel like that's pretty solid. You know, so if you're looking for a player prop, there's a good one for there.
I'd take that.
Well, we're going to keep it moving to our next big game. Fix some of this. Oh, no. I can get it working. There we go. We're going to go to the Big Ten.
All right.
Michigan Wolverines traveling over to Lincoln to take on Cornhuskers. Over under is 45.5. Michigan is a 2.5 point favorite. You're going to have a big battle of 5-star quarterbacks in this one. Bryce Underwood versus Dylan Raiola. In this game, who do you think really needs to show up for the team to give the best chance to win?
Honestly, I think right now Underwood is the one who needs to show up more. He's the largest NIL player in all of college football. We already saw him underperform in his first big challenge to start the season, and nobody wants to see that in a day where we're paying top dollar. We're paying more than the NFL pays rookies, for these kids to compete. You want to see these kids do well. I know some people like to be jaded and just want to see them fail no matter what. But if you're thinking, especially as a Michigan fan, it's $12 million. Let's go into this kid. Like, you want to see him do well. Raiola, he's got a huge NIL deal too, but it's Nebraska. They've barely been relevant the last 24 years. So he doesn't have that same weight on his shoulder. Not only that, he's being called Baby Mahomes. I'd be more worried about having baby in my nickname than anything else if I'm him. So I'd say Underwood's probably got more pressure right now.
I will push back to say that Raiola doesn't have pressure on him because even though I know Nebraska, at least to the best of my knowledge, doesn't have the budgets like at least in Michigan. But most teams don't in regards to that. But that fan base is passionate, man. Like, they do view themselves as a blue shirt program. They do have one nowadays. I know it's been a long time. 2025 is not the 90s. So,
No. It's been a long time since Bo Pelini.
Yeah. So he was actually a good coach. He just never got fired, and Nebraska's still reeling from
Getting
that.
Fired after a 9-3 season.
9-3 seasons. Wow, that's crazy. I will say that
they fired him before the bowl game. They got blown out.
They got blown out. Hey man, karma's a bitch. But I will say that, but also a big loss for them, and I'm not mad at that because it's a big game for Florida State is getting Tony White from them as a defense coordinator, because that defense is definitely not the same, and that's what I'm kind of curious about in this game. I was going to look against Michigan, but also can Michigan take advantage of it? I know they put up 63 last week, and a lot of people were saying, like, man, don't bring the coach back. He was on suspension. I think he's on suspension for the game. I'm not sure. I'll double check that.
I think this is his first game back.
First game back? Okay.
I think so, yeah.
They got that weird rule that suspensions are selected games, which is wild to me.
Nebraska. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Nick. But
no, you continue. I'll ask.
I was just going to say that Nebraska, they haven't really played anybody either. I think their last two games were against Division II opponents. Houston Christian. Oh, well, Akron might as well be a Division II opponent, but barely put away Cincinnati, and Cincinnati's not who they were 3 years ago, and they made a playoff run and had an opportunity at a national championship. So, Nebraska, I feel like they're unproven. Their defense, like you mentioned with White. White's now down in down in Florida State, and they're looking fantastic. Phenomenal addition for Mike Norvell to add on to that, and he's already been being touted for the UCLA job. So obviously people already saw something good in White before he left. But Nebraska's defense might not be the same. I definitely don't think they have the same talent level on defense that Michigan has. I think ESPN has these guys basically 50-50. I think that's wishing a little bit for Nebraska right now, but we'll see. I'd be happy to be proven wrong.
That's fair enough. All right, we're going to keep it moving. We're going to take a trip to the SEC as we got 22 Auburn traveling over to Norman to take on the Sooners. This is a game I forgot about. I was looking back through some bets, and I was just like, how the hell I missed this game? This is definitely a big one. Shout out to Johnny. I know he's a big Sooner fan, so hope he's checked this out. Oklahoma's a 6.5 point favorite. Over on there is 48. Right now, you have two coaches that were getting pretty much a lot of off-season pressure to put up results for this season. As you got Hugh Freeze and Brent Venables going at the pressure is a little bit taper off for Venables getting that big win over Oklahoma. I'm not gonna say it's done because now you get into conference schedule and Oklahoma has a hell of a schedule, and this starts it off. Do you? I guess the first question for me is, can this Auburn offense put up points against this Oklahoma defense? As coached by Venables and co.
Well, Arnold is the Sooners' previous quarterback. Down at Auburn right now, and I think he's been executing that pistol offense down in Auburn superbly. I think he's doing a great job with that. His reads are impeccable. I think he can, but Will Venables has proven to be one of the best defensive mind coaches in college football. Even if you had him on the hot seat for Oklahoma, you knew damn sure the next team that could was going to pick him up as their defensive coordinator. He just knows how to coach that side of the ball. He just happens to have Mateer, who's been inconsistent at times, but still looks solid enough that he can power you through any defense you come across, even in the SEC.
Yeah, he's also the Heisman favorite.
He's currently the Heisman favorite over Castellanos, which is wild to me.
Yeah. Who would have thought?
Who'd have thunk it? But, Auburn could. I don't know if they will. Not the way they've been scoring the first few games. At this point, it's week 4. Venables is definitely cracked on that draw read play that Auburn has been running so well. You're probably going to have a quarterback spy for a majority of the game. I'm sure that they have planned for this Auburn offense, and Will Venables is nothing if not prepared.
No, most definitely. And Mateer, and with his offensive coordinator also coming from Washington State, I think because the Auburn defense is decent, but I won't say they're elite. That you can put points up them, and they also didn't look impressive against South Alabama. Like South Alabama just couldn't score because they just didn't have the athletes to match what Auburn has. So that's it's going to be interesting to see. As you see below, my best prop bet for this game is Jackson Arnold over 42.5 rushing yards. I thought about that. I was like, man, that defense might get a lot of sacks, but we see.
They might, yeah. But you know what? I again, that's another bet I'd take, man. For over 42 yards, he's been almost averaging 60 yards a game so far.
Man.
So
I feel like it's a safe bet.
Shoot, if their running back can't, then you definitely have a chance at seeing him run the draw option a lot more. So
most definitely. I will say I was going to cover South Carolina, but I just read that they haven't really announced Lenore Sellers, or at least Shane Bieber wouldn't comment on it. So I think I'm going to let us chime on a little bit later. I'm going to skip to Miami and Florida, big in-state rivalry that doesn't get played too often. But we got Florida going down to Miami to take on the Canes. Miami's a 7.5-point favorite. Surprised that line. But like I said earlier during the week 3 review, Florida wasn't as bad as the score might indicate in the LSU game. So that might consider it. But over-under is 51.5. Quick thoughts. Your thoughts on Carson Beck right now coming into the season? Coming to the season to what he is now, or what you have seen.
I kind of expected more of what I saw last year. 2 years ago, when we first caught glimpses of him, he looked, young, ready to go, gunslinger. Last year, I saw him. I thought he was going through the motions, not really playing all the way on every down. And this year, boom, he's in Miami, and all of a sudden, he's vocal. He's definitely the biggest team cheerleader when they're running off onto that field. He has passion right now. And, I don't know if it's just because his gymnastics star girlfriend is down there with him and, maybe he's burning off a little more steam than usual, but he definitely seems to be more motivated down at Miami. And that's who you wanted. That's what you wanted to get with that arm talent. You wanted somebody who was going to be an emotional leader on that field. And it's shown in his play too. He's been pretty damn consistent so far. Big plays, big throws, very few mistakes. Yeah,
it's surprising. No, I want to say surprising because I was also thinking, like, I don't know, even though I say he hasn't even gotten an ACC competition, but like how you looked against USF, how you looked against Notre Dame in the first game, like Miami's been looks pretty solid. This is by far is going to be the best defense he has seen. So we see, and I will say, if you look play by play, by him, he does still make some mistakes that he's been kind of getting bailed out from because of his receivers. Against better athletes, we're going to see if that actually doesn't come to
throwing a couple balls low, 1 or 2 behind. Yeah.
A little behind stuff, well, kind of team making pay for that. I guess a follow-up on the other side for Florida, DJ Lagway. It's kind of like finding a theme with some of these very highly rated quarterbacks, young quarterbacks, having some setbacks. 5 picks. Lagway was expected to be very prominent coming to the season. Right now, he's been looking pretty mediocre. You think he can get back on track and get Florida back right as they get into this gauntlet of a schedule?
I wouldn't be surprised. When he was introduced last year, his first few appearances were pretty rough. I think, just like at this point in the season, I think his first 3 games were where he started, he had more interceptions than touchdowns, but he still was dangerous enough with his feet and elusive enough to make plays that as the season kept going, those balls fell into the right spots. The receivers started being in the right places more, reading, I guess, more off of him than off the actual offense. So I wouldn't be surprised to see if he repeated something like that. Maybe it's just a slow start to the beginning of the season and like a locomotive just powers through the more he goes on. But right now, he's not looking anything close to what we were promised. Not even a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, this is a guy that some people on the SEC network, Paul Feinbaum, were saying was going to run away with the Heisman competition this year. And so far, you've thrown more picks than touchdowns, man. Not really going to make it into the Heisman conversation like that. And it doesn't help that, you know, their offense as a whole has looked pretty fumbly, you know, hasn't exactly looked crisp, clean, something that's going to execute on every play. And yeah, they've got probably the toughest remaining schedule in college football. So it does not get easier from here.
Yeah. And even like the teams, if like for our listeners that be on Spotify or Apple, you know, I'll read off some of these teams. After this Miami game, they have a bye week. Then they have Texas. They host Texas. Travel to Texas A&M, host Mississippi State, who's vastly improved. At least
Mississippi State doesn't look like an automatic win anymore.
Yeah,
they're 3-0. They're 3-0, and they've done it convincingly. You know, like
over Arizona State. They also throw in they play the Florida Georgia game in Jacksonville. Then you got Kentucky, Ole Miss, Tennessee, and Florida State to finish the season.
Yeah.
For Billy Napier and that team, like, you know, a lot of people say he's on the hot seat. I'm like, man, like, if he can win 3 of those games, kind of cut him a little slack. I feel like at least.
I mean, unfortunately, in year 5, I believe he's in. 4 wins isn't going to cut it. Doesn't matter what conference you're in. You should have prepared for this. Unless Napier's able to pull an absolute magic act out of whatever hat he's got. I think we'll be seeing another new coach in Gainesville pretty soon. Just hopefully not before the Florida State game.
Right. All right. Let's move on to another big matchup. We're gonna try back over to the Big Ten. Got number 9 Illinois traveling over to number 19 Indiana. Who would have thought like these would be 2 teams in a top 25 matchup in college football? This was like a basketball preview.
Yeah.
Indiana is a 5-point favorite with this, 52.5. What's your thoughts on Indiana? Do you think it's once again harder? It's kind of hard to read this team because they start the season once again with kind of like a soft schedule, but they blow these teams out for it. You think? I know Illinois get that big win over Duke earlier with that pretty good defense looked pretty good. You think Illinois' defense can match this offense generated by Indiana?
Brett Bielema's specialty is as a defensive-minded coach, and he's definitely made it tough to play Illinois. They might not be able to put 30 or 40 against you, but they're definitely not going to make it easy for you to score 24 either.
Yeah.
You know, and so, yeah, you love to see Indiana. They run a very unique offense, a lot of wheel routes, a lot of misdirection plays. It's a lot of fun to watch. Bielema's one of those guys who's probably prepared for some of that trickery. I'd say right now, Illinois is the best bet on defense to put a stop to this Indiana train. Continuing from last year is really exciting to see. Interesting tidbit: Altmaier at Illinois is 56 out of 78 for 709 yards and 8 touchdowns. Mendoza for Indiana is 55 for 76 for 708 yards and 9 touchdowns. They're almost identical. They are almost identical in their play so far this season. It's actually super entertaining to see. So I think between these two teams, it's going to be, I think Illinois' defense is the biggest factor in this game.
Oh yeah,
Stop
definitely.
Indiana offense.
I think if you, as a whole for both teams, I think really the matchup to watch for, like if you don't really, I'm pretty sure like most people, unless you're like a diehard, not.
This
like,
is not usually one of the games on everyone's schedule or like,
What's
can't
his
wait to watch
radar?
that. Yeah.
right. But I will say, look at the defensive line matchup for both teams because I think that's the strength for both teams or the defense lines on both sides versus the opposite offensive line. I think whoever dominates consistently, that's going to win the matchup. Now I also understand that's football 101, but in this game it's going to be even more heavily, but especially with Signetti. Signetti knows how to call the offense, but I'm curious how he's going to hold up if Illinois' defense. Because watching that Duke game, that was like the massive difference. But Indiana has a little more, bigger talent than what Duke has, at least up on the front lines.
No, it seems to be that way. Anyways, the bodies are definitely bigger. That O line for Indiana is actually huge.
Yeah,
I think it's like the second largest offensive line in all of college football or something like that.
Oh, really? I didn't know that part.
Yeah, that's just not something you see at Indiana. That's usually your Georgia, your LSU, your Florida. Meanwhile, Indiana's here with the beefcakes up on the up in front of the quarterback. So,
all right, awesome. Let me type this up. So that's all the game. The other game I was going to comment on, South Carolina, Missouri. You have any quick thoughts? Obviously, even though Lenore Sellers still questionable right now, suffered concussion against Vandy, and during a press conference earlier today, Shane Beamer wouldn't really give word. Obviously, he doesn't want to give a tip if he's going to be clear for this game. Right now, in the spread, I believe the last time I checked was 17.
17 and a half,
going to Missouri.
Yep.
Any quick tidbits you want to throw about South Carolina, Missouri?
Sellers better be healthy if they want to win.
Yeah, that's pretty much what
I mean, I know you always play in Columbia, but still you're going into Columbia this time.
Yeah.
And if Doty's play is anywhere as ugly as it was last week, South Carolina better just chalk up the next few weeks as L's till Sellers is 100%.
Yeah. I'm also going to say, like, I'm going to share this video to this guy because I said this back in like April. I was like, hey, if I had a dark horse team to choose, like out the blue, I said, watch Missouri if they can figure out their offense. Because I think like they're always a team that no one thinks about. Like half of people still don't even know they're in the SEC, even though they've been in the league for about 10 years. It just doesn't sound like an SEC team being like kind of like Southern, kind of Midwestern, obviously. But I felt like, the way their schedule lines up, if you look at their schedule, it's kind of like Georgia. They're like the Georgia Tech of the SEC. Like if they hit it right, they can actually sneak into the SEC championship game.
I feel like that's fair. No, I mean, Missouri's got a manageable schedule. South Carolina, I think that was one they were probably worrying about. But Auburn looks beatable. I mean, they that could be a great game actually, depending on our Missouri and Auburn still one-loss teams or no-loss teams. Alabama, if you're Missouri right now, you're thinking you can win that. Then you got Vandy and Texas A&M.
But a little harder than I thought.
It's not impossible though. It's not like looking at Oklahoma's schedule or looking at Florida's schedule. It's still manageable. Like Texas A&M's really the only team right now, if I'm Missouri, that I'm thinking, thank God I have them at home.
At home, yeah.
Because you have to go into Oklahoma. Playing at Norman's never fun, but Missouri's been there before. I don't think they're going to be as concerned as a lot of other teams might be stepping in Norman for the first time. Their schedule's winnable. I mean, if this is a 2-loss team, they definitely are on the bubble for the playoffs.
Yeah, most definitely. All right, but guys, those are our big highlighted games we cover for week 4. We're going to give a review of week 3 best bets. If I can pop them up. Let's see where they at.
I'm not going to forgive Pitt for letting me down.
Yeah, they
I'm
can-
just not putting West Virginia in my bets anymore because I've done 3 weeks of West Virginia bets and I've been wrong on every one. So.
Never seen one. They're hard stuff, man. I knew that game was gonna be emotional. That's obviously that's a massive rivalry up there.
Backyard brawl, baby. That's one of the best old rivalries.
Rivalries, man. I wish it gets played more. Hopefully they're trying to play it more too. We'll see for this conference realignment and stuff how it works out. All right, well let's jump into week 3 review. This is also for my listeners that listen to the audio version of this podcast. We're going to start with week 3, 5 bets for each of us. So far, we're going to start with the worst of the 4. We're going to go with Matt, who went 0-5 last week. All 5 losses are the Georgia covering 3.5, Pitt -7, USF plus 17.5, Ole Miss -7.5, and Notre Dame -7. Ryan, one of the 4 state guys, who seems on the hold down, went 3-2 this week. His losses were USF plus 16.5 and Pitt -5.5. His wins were Arizona -2.5, Tennessee plus 4, and Texas A&M plus 6.5, getting the win over Notre Dame. Jacoby went 2-3. His losses were of USF plus 9.5 in the first half, Clemson -3.5, and
Try to warn him.
Try to warn him, right? And Clemson, Oregon State plus 23.5. His wins were Bama -21. I'm pretty sure this hit in the first half, the over on the 49.5 of Georgia.
Yeah, you think you might be right. Yeah.
The game was wild. I was not. I thought that was gonna be a lower score game. Then your boy Nick with the best record for the week. Just not trying to show anything. I went 4-1. My only loss was Duke -1. I almost came back. Dukies. That's 2 losses y'all gave me so far.
You should quit on Duke like I'm quitting on the Mountaineers, man. Just
I know, right?
keep them out of your bets.
I'm gonna have to see it more. My wins were Cal plus 2, North Texas -5.5, which that was like a 59-10 blowout. Houston -4.5, and Georgia Tech, who called the upset, no, with Ryan, plus 3.5.
Hey, I called it. I just should have put my money on it.
So far, total records for the season: Nick's winning 13-7 record, Matt's 6-9, Ryan's 9-4, and Jacob's 5-8. Any quick thoughts about your bets from?
No regrets except for Pitt. I won't forget that. Next time I'll change Pitt to Georgia Tech.
Yeah, man, you got to fully believe. Hey, he was betting with your heart.
I was actually Arizona. I thought was kind of a give me. Kansas State hadn't looked great at all. I was shocked that Arizona was only given 2.5 in that game. So if you see something like that, you just got to jump on it.
Yeah, jump on it, man. You got to jump on it. All right, Matt. I'll let you jump on your week 4 picks. Let them rip.
Well, Matt's week 4 picks.
Oh, that's Matt. There you go.
So I got TCU taking over SMU. I like SMU. I like them a lot. I know they were ranked top 25 and TCU wasn't. Difference is I've seen TCU produce. When it comes to SMU, I haven't. And TCU's won some pretty big games. So in a rivalry match where one team has momentum and one team doesn't, I'm going to ride the momentum all day with TCU. Rice over Charlotte. Charlotte has barely beat their opponent last week. Team I can't even think of right now. 20-17. Somebody that if you're in Division I football, you should put at least 40 points on. Yeah. So Rice having blown away both of the opponents they've beaten so far, seems like an easy one. North Carolina doesn't play football anyways. Oregon State. I don't know if you've watched. I think Oregon will cover this by themselves. Yeah. Oregon scored, I think 52 is the lowest they've scored so far this season.
No, they only scored 30, I think 31, 34 last week.
Was that it? Okay. Yeah. I missed that one.
Yeah,
I thought 2 weeks ago they scored 62. Okay. I thought that was last week. But still, I mean, Oregon State, we know they can put up points too. Malik Murphy, expect a lot of garbage time. UNLV, coach has me believing in the Raiders or in the not the Raiders. What are they? The not the Mountaineers.
The
Rebels. The
Rebels.
Running Rebels. The Running Rebels.
Run Rebels.
Yeah. Miami, Ohio, go away. UNLV. I'm behind old Florida coach here. Yeah. Let's go with Mullen on this one. And North Texas, I actually am following your lead on this one. They won last week. Army's not impressed me so far, but North Texas looks mean. So let's go with the Mean Green.
Mean Green. And there you have it, guys. That's Ryan's week 4 bets. Well, let's show you some really good best bets over here to the winning side. We go with Nick's best bets. I'm gonna fight you on that UNLV Miami.
You're gonna regret it, man. You're gonna regret it.
I think one thing you're missing out, Alex Orji is lost for the season. Who is a starter? Anthony Calandra coming from UVA is gonna be your leading quarterback. And shout out to Tom Finelli on the Cover 3 podcast. That's his Whoopsie Daisy King. So receive that. I got Maryland plus 11 against Wisconsin. I think this spread is a little too high. I think Malik Washington is one of the best freshman quarterback that no one's talking about. That has looked pretty good so far at Maryland. I know Maryland has never beat Wisconsin, but I think there's a chance for that one today. Give me Rutgers plus 3 against Iowa. I think Iowa's offense is anemic. Not saying that Rutgers.
They're anemic just because they got a bunch of little kids with cancer next to them. Is that what you're saying?
Well, God, give them the vaccine or something. Goddamn, that offense is look putrid. This quarterback was supposed to be an improvement, and it's looking like it's still.
Gronowski looked good against Iowa State, and since then, I haven't seen him impress me at all.
So give them Rutgers, and they're traveling to the East Coast, so I feel like that's going to play a little part in it. Texas Tech plus 3.5 against Utah. I think that's a 3-point game. I think that 3.5 is just that, unless some safety happen. I believe that's going to be like a 17-20 game. And then Tulsa plus 13.5 against Oklahoma State. In-state rivalry. Surprise. Man, Oklahoma State has looked dead.
They have. I think if Gundy loses to Tulsa, it's time for him to walk.
It's time. I'm not going to call that outright victory, but I think there's nothing about Oklahoma State. They should be double-digit favorites against anyone.
I have to agree on that one. I haven't seen them look like double-digit favorites for any reason.
Definitely. All right, now I'm going to bring the board for our Clemson guys since they want to not be here today.
Still hiding like scaredy cats.
Right, it's all
Haven't even shown up since we started.
I guess they got to get mentally ready for Syracuse.
Are we sure they're not Carolina fans? Because right now they look like chickens.
Oh, those are Ryan's words. God, dude. Matt's picked for best for week 4. He has the over 64.5 for TCU SMU.
I don't.
All right, you don't like it?
I feel like that's going to jinx my pick now.
Right. He's battling me on the Wisconsin-Maryland game. Choosing Wisconsin to win by 10.
Well, now I wouldn't pick Wisconsin. I was gonna before, but
no. Oklahoma minus 6.5 over Auburn. Michigan 2.5-point favorites over Nebraska, and Virginia 15.5-point favorites over Stanford, which I think is. Watch out for Stanford, man. I think they have more of a pulse than people thinking, given like the mass exits of that team.
I was gonna say that. We talked about the Boston College Stanford matchup last week. Traditionally, teams don't travel well coast to coast, and Boston College was the visiting team. They didn't look nearly as fresh as Stanford did, so good for the Cardinal. You needed at least one win this year, I guess. At least
one. Hey, the 1-0 in the ACC, man, might have a shot at the ACC championship. I'm just saying, you never know.
It's anybody's game at this point.
It's 2025, man. Anything possible. Then we got Jacoby, his best week 4 vibes. Week 4 vibes. He has Miami 7.5-point favorites. Over Florida. I'm not sure who Michigan State plays. I feel like they play USC, Southern Cal. That's right. So he chose Michigan State to cover plus 18 against Southern Cal. He has Hawaii plus 3 against Fresno State. He has Tulane plus 11.5 against Ole Miss. And he has the under 46.5 with Iowa and Rutgers.
I would take that bet. Yeah.
That's I feel like that's pretty solid.
Didn't we agree a couple of years ago when it comes to Iowa, always take the under?
Take the underdog. There's 2 guaranteed unders in life. That's Iowa and the Army Navy game. More often than not. Sometimes the Army Navy games might change a little. Army's been scoring some points lately. But
They're going against the Mean Green this year.
We see what the Mean Green does against them. North Texas looks good. That's maybe a dark horse group of 5 playoff contender right there.
Watch out, South Florida.
Watch out. But those are our week 4 best bets. I do have some additional bets I want to throw in. I think Jacob covered one of them. I do love that Tulane plus 11.5.
Against Ole Miss?
Yeah. I just think that Ole Miss defense isn't as good. And I think
Braver
Tulane,
than I am.
Yeah, and John Summerall is going to figure out a way to put up some points against them. Here's some additional bets for anyone that's listening and want to take them. Just kind of keep in mind. I am in coherence with I will fight Ryan on the SMU TCU. I think SMU will cover. I won't choose them outright to win, but I think that's the in-state Texas rivalry. That's gonna be competitive. And they already lost to Baylor. You can't lose to your neighbors across the street.
You don't want to lose to both your rivals, no.
Yeah, both are rivals. TCU being right down the street, down I-20. FSU over 31 first half against Kent State. I think they're gonna blow them out first and coast in the second half. Could be wrong. They might put Pell to the metal if they keep it going with the backups. I do like UNC plus 6.5 over UCF. I saw that. I almost put that in my best bets.
Yeah, UCF hasn't done anything to impress me really this year. I know North Carolina's off to a rough start with Belichick as their coach, but definitely possible. Definitely possible that North Carolina goes down there and covers, if not pulls out a win in Orlando.
Wouldn't be surprised, Bill Belichick, kind of figuring things out as he go deeper in the season. He's still fresh as college football, which is a little different than obviously having the best players around you in the NFL for it. Then the final one I have is Memphis plus 8 against Arkansas.
I saw that one. That's an interesting one.
Yeah, that's an interesting game. I think Memphis is definitely winning. I don't think people realize how big of a rivalry that is, with Memphis being kind of like right next door to Arkansas. Not like a major rivalry, but like it's going to be competitive. A lot of those players feel some different that they weren't recruited going to the SEC. So, and I think Memphis is probably one of the better group of 5 teams. Like, they're in that pool of teams that are vying for that group of 5 playoff berth, especially since Boise lost. So just keep tabs on them in the American, them Tulane, and USF. That's going to be a fun conference to kind of keep tabs on this year for it. With that being said, you have anything you'd like to leave?
Yeah, we got some other bets. I like FIU over Delaware at 5.5.
Okay.
FIU's looking a little better than usual. They just beat in-state rival FAU off 95. And then Middle Tennessee and Marshall. The over is only 46.5. Neither of these teams has a defense. I would not be surprised to see this end up a 40-something to 40-something blow up match. Yeah, I would be surprised to see one of these teams score that by themselves. That's not because I think either of those teams are any good. I just think those defenses are that bad.
Oh man, my bad. Add to my list. Keep tabs on. That's a good parlay for you right there. Okay. With that being said, guys, this is your week 4 coverage of it. I do appreciate for everybody that was watching us today. This is, I think, the most views we have had so far this season, which tells me that this needs to be a 4-state pod.
Yeah. Apparently, that's all we got to worry about. Just keeping the vibes down and tally.
Yeah, that's it. Because right now, like, the color orange is not thriving, given what happened this past week.
They can show up again when they get a win.
Get a win, man. Beat the orange up in New York.
Not gonna happen.
No, might be an upset. Fran Brown, man. I love that guy as a coach. Run your players at halftime.
They still got that kicker from 3 years ago.
Nah,
I know Clemson doesn't want to see him again.
I know, right? Clemson field goals, man. There might be some PTSD for him. But with that being said, man, that is Ryan Davies. I am your boy Nappy Nick. Once again, if you're watching this on Twitch or YouTube, please hit that subscribe button and give us some likes as we grow this pod. If you're listening to us on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to podcasts, please give us a follow. We're gonna be here every Tuesday. We might do 5:30, it might be 7. We see how next week plays out. Mainly because of Jacob's Hawaiian not even here. Well, we figured that out down in
Where
Florida.
do you have to be? You live in Hawaii, man.
Yeah, right.
Where do you have to be?
Where do you have to be,
The
bro?
beach?
Gosh. First world problems right there, man.
Mm-hmm.
Gosh. With that being said, man, we are out of here. See you.